The silence between notes. Chapter 1. The Shattered Melody. The moon hung low over the spires of Lyrandor, a swollen crimson orb that cast its sanguine glow across the cobblestone streets like spilled wine. In the heart of the kingdom, the grand theater's golden domes and crystal towers accented with gold pierced the night sky, alive with the final notes of the Harvest Symphony. Masked performers danced upon stages lit by ethereal crystals, weaving tales of ancient heroes and forgotten relics. Nobles and common folk swayed together, faces painted with fleeting joy beneath the royal balcony. Young Gabrielle, barely 13 summers old, clutched her ocarina to her chest, hidden in the alcove shadows. No noble born, she was a sorcerer's daughter, life measured in scraps and secrets. Tonight she had slipped inside not for secrets, but for the music, those haunting, winding tones that whispered of lost eras, of artifacts that could bend fate itself. Her father promised her, "Listen well, little Ellie. The songs hold the keys to our salvation." The house lights dim. An airship hovers above the stage, sails catching faint wind. From its decks, a grand symphony begins. Ancient magic carried on strings and winds. Mist rises from center stage, thick and obscuring, building tension and mystery. The phantom rogue stands apart from the flickering torchlight of Lyrandor's shadowed alleys and the crimson-drenched rooftops alike, a silhouette carved from midnight itself. Tonight, he steps onto the grand stage beneath the veil of moonlight. His long black trench coat swirls like liquid midnight, unadorned save for the subtle gleam of silver buttons running down the front in a single disciplined line, and the faint scars of old knife work and spell burns that mark the leather-reinforced cuffs. When he moves, the hem meets the top of his leather boots, trailing silence in its wake. A wide-brimmed fedora is tilted at the perfect insolent angle, a single raven feather tucked into the dark silver silk band, glossy black with an iridescent sheen that catches stray moonlight like spilled oil. The feather is not ornamental, it is a quiet signature, a reminder that ravens are both messengers and carrion eaters, watchers of secrets and heralds of endings. Beneath the brim, only his gaze truly betrays life, lilac-tinged and luminous in low light, carrying an unbearable weight, as though he had already seen the final act of every story and found them all wanting. His stare does not invite, it measures, judges, and discards in the same breath. When it lands on someone, the air seems to thicken, conversations falter, heartbeats stutter. Most people look away within seconds and pretend the moment has never happened. His face remains half hidden, even in full light, high cheekbones, a neatly trimmed, dirty blonde beard, lips set in a line that could be amusement, or sorrow, or simple exhaustion. No one has ever seen him smile in earnest. Combat-ready leather boots rise to mid-calf, laced tight, soles reinforced with thin steel plates that make no sound when he chooses silence. The heels are slightly higher than a common laborer's, giving his stride a predator's measured grace. Long, economical, always ready to pivot or vanish. He carries no visible weapons, yet danger clings to him like damp fog. A thin silver chain disappears beneath his collar, heavy with something small and unseen. His hands, long-fingered, scarred across the knuckles, are never still for long. They trace invisible sigils in the air, adjust the feather in his hat, or simply rest at his sides like coiled serpents waiting for permission. Rumors follow him the way moths follow flame. Some say he is losing his mind, that the illusions he once wove for delight have begun to weave themselves into his thoughts. Others claim he sold his soul long ago and is simply waiting for the bill to come due. Tonight, though, for those few suspended minutes, the audience forgets every doubt and whisper of madness. They see only the phantom rogue, mysterious, untouchable, impossibly sane in the moment. The only illusion he never needs magic to create is the one they carry away with them. That he is still whole, still in control, still the master of every shadow in the theater. And when the final note fades and the house lights rise, he is already gone, leaving behind only the faint scent of cold rain, old paper, and the memory of ghostly amethyst eyes. Beneath the brim, his gaze flicked toward the alcoves where his daughter hides, clutching a small clay ocarina etched with protective runes. His daughter, Gabrielle, the child the stars have named the matriarch. Thorn, masked as the phantom rogue in midnight, darts through the troupe in playful flourishes, stealing a prop crown from the queen actress to delighted laughter and applause. But his illusions are already weaving deeper. The Harvest Symphony is his final shroud of secrets, a masterpiece woven with mystery and magic to both honor the great ones and warn his daughter without breaking her. Every performance is a confession veiled in applause. The music is old and precise, passed down through the Harvest Symphony, the illusory door pulsing on stage, the chains fragile under crimson glow, the prophesied witch mirroring her stance. The stage lights dim to a starry indigo as the overture swelled. A colossal, illusory moon, identical to the bright crimson orb hanging over Lyrandor, rose behind translucent scrims, bathing the performers in bloody glow. The chorus lifted their voices in solemn harmony, singing of the three great ones, the Mage of Stars, the Wizard of Time, and Sorcerer Silas, who had bound the shadow of the void behind a door of black stone and chains of starlight, time, and illusion. Thorn's illusions deepened. The scrims behind the performers rippled like water, revealing not a painted backdrop, but a living memory. First came the Mage of Stars, a towering figure cloaked in midnight velvet, eyes like twin nebulae. When he raised his arms, the very air above Lyrandor seemed to answer, as starlight was drawn down through the crystal spires of the city itself. For Lyrandor was no mere capital. It had been built centuries ago as a giant tuning fork for the heavens. Every spire, every dome, every faceted crystal pane had been aligned to capture and amplify specific harmonic frequencies from the night sky. Tonight, under the bloated crimson moon, the entire city sang in sympathetic vibration. The mage extended his hands toward the center of the stage. From the sky above the theater, through the open roof dome, beams of pure starlight lanced downward, converging into a single point. Where they met, the black stone began to take shape, first as a shimmer, then as solid matter. The door rose slowly, impossibly tall, its surface already veined with silver runes that flickered like distant lightning. The stone drank the starlight greedily, growing denser, colder, more real with every heartbeat. Then came the Wizard of Time. He appeared beside the mage, older, broader, his cloak woven from threads that seemed to fray and reweave themselves in reverse. In his hands he held an hourglass the size of a man, but the sand inside flowed both directions at once. He inverted it with deliberate force. Time shuddered. Around the forming door, seconds stretched into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into years. Yet outside the theater, only heartbeats passed. The audience felt only a faint pressure in their chests, a momentary vertigo. But on stage, the door aged centuries in moments. Cracks of use appeared and healed. Weathering smoothed its edges only for fresh polish to return. The stone drank history itself. Temporal chains, translucent, frost-rimed, glowing with the soft blue of frozen moments, began to wrap the door like living vines. Each link was a stolen second from futures that would never come. Each coil a year the world would never have to endure if the seal held. The door now stood complete, towering, immovable, radiating a low, bone-deep hum that vibrated through the theater floor and up into every seat. The physical anchor, the thing the world would see and remember, a monument to hope and a decoy. Then Sorcerer Silas stepped forward. Thorn himself played the role tonight, his amethyst eyes burning beneath the fedora's brim. But the illusion was deeper than costume. For these moments he was Silas, the weight of centuries settling on his shoulders like the long black coat. He moved with the same predatory grace, the same quiet madness barely leashed. Silas raised both hands. Magenta light, soft at first, then razor sharp, poured from his palms. It did not strike the door. It enveloped the entire stage, then the theater, then, silently, invisibly, expanded outward to swallow the whole of Lyrandor. The city vanished from mortal sight. To those standing outside the dome, to the airship crews drifting overhead, to the guards on the outer walls, nothing changed. The spires still gleamed, the dome still caught moonlight. Life continued, but it was all illusion now. The true door, the one forged of starlight, time, and black stone, had never stood in the center of the Grand Theater. It stood deep beneath the earth, in a cavern no map would ever find, its location folded inside layer upon layer of recursive deception. Silas's greatest work, a labyrinth of nested veils. To approach it in the physical world was to walk in circles forever, always believing you drew nearer while actually spiraling away. Only the song, the precise, living melody carried in the blood and breath of the matriarch, could navigate the illusion and reach the real door. And yet the false door remained standing. It stood now on stage, solid and terrible, wrapped in chains of starlight and frozen time, runes pulsing slowly. A monument the world could see, touch, worship, fear. A decoy so perfect that even the void, hammering from the other side, might believe it was the true prison for centuries. The chorus reached its final crescendo. Every voice in the theater, singers, audience, even the distant hum of Lyrandor's crystal engines, joined in one vast, resonant chord. The city itself became the amplifier. The golden domes vibrated, the crystal towers sang like struck bells. Airships overhead thrummed in sympathy, their sails taut with harmonic pressure. The chains on the illusory door tightened visibly. Each link flared brilliant white, then settled into a steady, cold silver glow. Cracks that had begun to form sealed over with threads of starlight. Temporal frost thickened, locking the door in an eternal now. The pounding from the far side grew muffled, distant, furious, but contained. The music held, the city held, the chains held. And in the silence that followed the final aching note, Thorn, still playing Silas, lowered his hands. The magenta light guttered out. The false door remained standing center stage, a towering warning and promise, while the true door slept hidden beneath layers of perfect, unbreakable lie. The chorus whispered the last line, "Until she comes, the key who sings the void." Thorn's real eyes flicked once more to the alcoves. "See this, Ellie. Remember." The lights dimmed. The audience erupted in applause, believing they had witnessed legend made spectacle. They had no idea how close they had come to witnessing the crimson moon in the glittering spires of Lyrandor. The phantom rogue steps onto the stage. A man cloaked in midnight, coat swirling like liquid shadow, a raven feather catching the blood-red light. His amethyst eyes see every ending before it begins. He performs the Harvest Symphony, a masterpiece of illusions and ancient song, a warning hidden in melody, a prophecy veiled in light. For his daughter, Gabrielle, the child the stars have named the matriarch. But when the final note fades, the illusion shatters. Demons rise from the darkness, airships burn across the sky. A father fights with fading illusions and desperate blades, buying his daughter one last chance to run. Now the black stone door trembles. Chains of starlight and frozen time begin to break. From the abyss steps Osrikar the Bone-Crowned, crown of fused vertebrae turning, scythe dripping darkness, emerald eyes burning with hunger that has waited centuries. A maiden's melody, a father's sacrifice, a silence between notes that can either seal the void or set it free. Some songs were never meant to be heard.